see I'm dressed really well for the occasion today. I was looking for warm. So tonight what we're going to be doing is talking about graffiti. I know a lot of you have a different perspective on graffiti. Your experiences of graffiti may or may not be positive. Your outlook on graffiti may not be something that you think of as being related to literacy, but I'm going to address that tonight with you. And the way that I'm going to begin to approach that is with the curiosity of humans. One of the things that I like about the research I'm doing with graffiti is that it provokes this curiosity. We look at graffiti and we wonder what they're saying to us. And I wonder if you can understand what they're saying to the people in their hierarchy. And so we communicate with each other, and we all have a hierarchy, which is how literacy is connected. We express our thoughts and our frustrations. But more importantly, we look at graffiti in relation to literacy as looking outside ourselves. And one of the things that I liked about the graffiti as a tool is that it talks about how humans are constantly looking for ways to stretch their imaginations and talk. And as you know, graffiti has constantly, there's this sense of identity and outlook that's constantly being addressed with graffiti. And like education and literacy, it's not a one-size-fits-all. And like literacy, the first thing we think about is the economical part of it. And one of the things that I didn't like about literacy when I first thought about teaching was that it's something that we look at in the monetary sense. Being productive is good. And as you can see, the irony here is that the L is missing. So what I liked about when I first started literacy studies with Kim Jackson was that you look at literacy from not in the classroom, but outside the classroom. And it changes your perspective, which I think is very, very powerful. And what I learned also was that there's a sense of crisis that you have to teach kids to learn by a certain time frame. You have to teach them to read and write. And it has to be some sort of a one-size-fits-all standard. And I wondered, who's the crisis addressing? Who are we trying to teach to read and write? And why? Why is it so important to get everyone to be on the same page, to be the same? What I liked about graffiti studies is that it addresses not necessarily the one thing that they do agree on, which is the level of modernity, which is the word I have trouble with. And I know this may sound strange, but that in literacy studies, what I've seen so far, and by no means an expert, is that there's this sense of discourse, this sense of lively debate that addresses a lot of things which surround identity. So you think about these questions. What is graffiti? How is it related to literacy? Where do you see it? It affects everyone. It's everywhere. That's where you see it. Again, how does it fit into the equation? If you notice up here some of the letters, obviously it's difficult to read. And for me personally, in my literacy study graffiti connection, I'm curious about that. When I first started researching it, what I liked about it was that I saw it as an act of resistance or defiance against a system that's confining. And what I liked about graffiti and literacy as a study combined was that it really explores the expressions of thought that people have that we don't really hear about in school. And it talks about, I hear and I read a lot of things about how students can say things outside of school that they can't say inside the school, the confines of the school. They're not allowed to say them. And that's what we care about, ultimately. We want to know what they're saying outside of school. What I liked about graffiti, too, is that it's an opportunity to see things differently. Graffiti is organic, it's fluid. It's not necessarily about interpreting or deciphering 19th century literature, but what it is about seeing problems from different angles. and this is a nod to Mandela.